Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, the one thing that we talk about is how smart are fish? How great an opponent are they for us? Are they smart? Do they learn? Or do they just react by some instinctual thing that keeps them going? Well, I got to tell you, I think they're a lot, and I hate to use this word, is smart the right word? I think they're a lot more aware, and I think they can also learn a lot more than we might realize. And experience can show you this. Now, in Japan, where the waters are very clear, and there's a lot of fishing pressure, the lures that people use over there are far more, I guess, beautifully concocted than what we're used to and more real looking. The intricate patterns on the lures are so amazing to make them look real. And why? Not just because people love all that, because it looks wonderful, but because the fishing can be a lot tougher. Those fish get used, they've seen all these other lures, and they've grown to know because they're fished so heavily that these things aren't what they want to eat. So fishermen are constantly trying to come up with something that looks different, that they haven't seen before, that might fool them. And I can tell you that coming back here to our country, coming back to waters that aren't as heavily fished, in some cases barely fished at all, I can see how the fish learn so quickly. Do they tell each other? We used to joke about we'd let a fish go and say, oh my goodness, he's going to go back and tell all the rest of them there not to strike because that thing is dangerous. Well, maybe that's more true than we think. They have a way of communicating with each other, believe me. We can see it in how schools move. We can see it how fish all will turn on at the same time. It isn't just weather changes. It's something that triggers their interest. They become competitive. So many things happen. Well, they also quickly discover if something isn't right. I've told you the story before about when I was up in the Arctic and I would go to this place that I know nobody'd ever fished, and I'd cast in, and the first cast maybe 20 fish would follow, just chasing each other, trying to get to the lure, and they'd watch one fish being caught. Release the fish, cast in again to the same place. There's still more than 20 fish out there in the same spot. Again, never seeing this before, but this time maybe only 5 followed the lure in. And the next cast, maybe only 1, or maybe I didn't get a strike. They learn very quickly. And I see it the same way here. I'll go out to, let's say that we'll use the Grass River because I fish that a lot. And I know pools that have a number of fish in them. And if I was to fish it, let's say I would go, after I do these shows, let's say I would go out and start fishing. And I might go to my favorite spot and I would catch 10 fish in this one stretch of water because there was a lot of fish there. Let's say tomorrow's weather is identical and I go to the same spot again with the same lure. And I will tell you, I won't get near the strikes, catch near the fish because all those fish in that spot remembered yesterday. At least this is what I think based on all the times that I go fishing. So the moral of this story is fish really do learn. They really seem to remember. And that's why, and the lure industry will tell you this. Granted, they're constantly making new lures to appeal to fishermen because they want to stay up on that market. But the other thing, they realize that you may have a hot lure one year and everybody on the lake is using that lure. That lure isn't going to be hot the next year because a number of the fish remember. So for us going fishing, I think it's important to remember that if we return to the same areas a lot or we see other people fishing there, maybe it's time to find new places to go because as I said a week ago, when I got a chance to fish a wildlife reservoir that had never been fished and they opened it up for a couple of weeks, oh my gosh, those fish had never seen a lure. And it was like going to a fish hatchery and fishing in one of their in-building ponds. And all the fish are used to being fed and they see these lures and they just strike, strike, strike. But after a week of fishing that reservoir, You didn't get near as many strikes going out to the same water. They learn quickly. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.